it feels as if a lot of people worked in the same place their entire career. It was very much, you do your 25 years, you get your pension. If you're in management, maybe you got a gold watch, and that was your career. I feel as if my parents' generation, and it certainly was the case with my father, you're probably not going to stay with the same company, because we saw companies, as they rely on, stock prices fluctuating, they do layoffs. And we were the generation that kind of witnessed our parents going through that experience, but they very much would stay in a similar type of job. Like my dad spent his entire career in pharmaceuticals, specifically in the eye business. So a lot of eye drops and surgical instruments for eyes. He worked for a variety of companies, but it was the same industry. I think where we are today, Joe, we have to evolve. We are constantly changing. I started my career off as a sportscaster. I worked in local television news, and I bounced around the country. I worked for CBS affiliates, NBC affiliates, and then I got burnt out and had a career change. And I went into sales myself, worked for 8 years. And I remember sitting with my wife once saying, sweetheart, if I'm still doing this job in 5 years, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to drive the car off a bridge or something. I'm just not happy. And that led to me transferring to working at QVC. And I think the lessons I've learned from those challenges is, with the evolution of so many different things, with technology, we hear people talking AI all the time now. We have to be nimble, and we have to be able to look at ourselves and realize that whatever we're doing, the dollar value doesn't matter at all. I chased the money for several years working in sales. I did very well financially. I was miserable personally. And I made career shifts and have continued to make changes now based more on what's fulfilling for me, what the gifts that I have, how can I share those with others and have an impact in a positive way on them. And if I'm not doing that and I'm just doing a job for a paycheck, I'm going to be miserable. And once I kind of learned that lesson, I've had a much more fruitful career and better choices throughout my life.
Man, I love that connection of, the exhaustion that comes from just chasing the money. And it creates burnout if you're not fully aligned with something greater than just the money. Because listen, man, I've been on both sides. I've been broke and I've had money, and I'll take having money any day of the week over being broke. But chasing money and not having any purpose behind it, any fulfillment behind it, man, there's emptiness there. And it creates that burnout. I mean, we've seen it so many times with just the famous people that we know, right? The Robin Williams of the world had the world by the balls, took his life, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. And what about the average billionaire or millionaire that jumps off the 52nd floor window? Why? Because there's emptiness there. That spiritual component, that connection with purpose is missing. So, you spoke about being able to find that. And prior to that, there was burnout. What did the burnout look like for you?
Anger, just a lot of boredom, a lot of questioning myself and what the heck am I doing? That's the big challenge. And I think that's why we see a lot of, people challenged with drug and alcohol abuse. We see a lot of psychological challenges that people go through. It's because you're not finding that fulfillment. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist of any type. I can only speak from my own experience, but I've noticed that when I worked in sales specifically, I was bored out of my mind and I was wasting so much time and I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. And I've heard your story multiple times, Joe. It's absolutely beautiful what you do and the challenges you've gone through. But there is no dollar amount. You touched on it a little bit. Some of the most miserable people I know. I grew up in a very nice, easy suburban area. Very safe to ride your bike around. Nice little cul-de-sacs. We could run around all night. There wasn't much fear of anything. And I know a handful of kids from my old town that inherited outrageous wealth. They got all the money in the world. Their personal lives are a total wreck. And it's so easy to look at it and say, oh man, this guy's got 3 houses. This guy's got a place at the Jersey Shore. It's unbelievable to see his new car, but divorced a couple of times, no relationship with his children, spending his nights at a bar where you're chasing after something, thinking you're going to find it in a bottle. And that's great. You got all those material things, but there is no number that is ever going to make anybody happy. You look at the wealthiest people in the world. If they're still chasing after that next dollar, they can flaunt all their wealth. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that they're legitimately happy with what they're doing.
Yeah, man. Money doesn't buy happiness. That saying is so real. And I think people have to learn to realize that, it's not about how much money you make. It's about the happiness that you create in your life, the abundance that you're able to create. And if you're able to create that wealth emotionally, financially, and spiritually, that's where the fulfillment is.